Is your example encouraging others to strive for greatness in their life? We're going to continue this legacy series. We just did one on your legacy of kindness and then your legacy of integrity. Today we're going to talk about your legacy of advocacy, advocating for yourself and others, standing up for others. And we're going to get into that. I am Nurse Ann, coming right now from the messy front lines. I'm a certified emergency and mental health registered nurse on the front lines for many years and still going. And this channel is here to inspire, advocate, encourage, and create, and for your inspirational wellness, to help you break out of boxes and get out of your comfort zone, have mental and emotional strength, healing, and resiliency. So it's important to me, I hope it's important to you, to advocate not only for yourself, for your own healing, but also for those around you, the struggles that we see in the world. So we're going to jump in today about advocating, being an advocate as part of your legacy. And you know, your legacy isn't just something in the future or later on. Your legacy is also right now. Your legacy is how others change because they've met you and they've seen your example and been around you. And that's so important. And it starts, as I said in this series, it starts with being kind and having integrity. Those are two characteristics. Leave in the comments some other characteristics that help you to be a good example and to help you leave a legacy that you will be proud of and that others can have better lives for. So I am Nurse Ann, and I hope you follow, like, share, leave comments as we go, and all that good stuff. But let's jump into this. And everyone get a drink of water first. It's so healthy. That's your nurseann.com tip. Because at the website nurseann.com, that's Ann with an E, you can see it in the description. It's full of inspiration for your health of body, mind, and spirit, because you know they work together in synergy. So let's talk about our legacy. And today we're talking about being an advocate. It's so important to me because I see so much going on the front lines of mental health and emergency. The world at large, you see it in your own family, on the news, where you work, in the community, in your church, and those that you take care of. So we're going to start off with some inspirational media. We're going to do some of my devotionals that also have inspirational scripture. And then at the end, there's always a bonus and a prize that I'm going to tell you about in a second. You definitely want to stay to the end for that. It's a lot of fun. So when advocating for others, always strive to be a good listener. Be supportive, have all the necessary information, and be a good representative. You can begin practicing your advocacy skills right at home with your own family. Yes, it does start there. It starts with our own mental and emotional and trauma healing, getting to know things that we've been through and working through that, and then spilling that onto others, helping in our own families. And hopefully we can also do that in the community, at school, at work, wherever we find ourselves. So what is the bonus in the prize that you were talking about, Nurse Ann? I'm going to tell you. I'm just looking for my article. There we go. So the bonus in the prize, at the end of this video and podcast, each time I drop you a quick, short, action-packed chapter of my published fictional drama where you are going to ride along with the front-line workers rescuing those in crisis of mental, physical, and spiritual. So let's get into some inspirational media. We'll do some of the published devotionals by Nurse Ann, and then the bonus and the prize. So this is from Courtney Harris Coaching, and she talks about 20 ways to be an advocate for social change and transformation. You could just think about being an advocate wherever you go for everyone. So she says, what is an advocate, she asks. What comes to mind when you hear the term advocate? Who or what are you picturing? In conversations with friends, family members, and clients. She said she's noticed that many folks think that the term advocate only applies to people who are doing justice work full-time or in a professional capacity. They associate the terms advocate and activist with people who are leading protests or lobbying at the state capitol building every day. However, I'd like to remind you that every decision you make holds political weight. In other words, everything is political, she says. Therefore, advocacy is a practice that all of us can engage in. We all have a range of tools and gifts that we can use to stand up for our values and beliefs each and every day. You have your own unique talents, tools, and skills, and I want you to dig into and discover those and let them shine for helping yourself and others. Additionally, tons of advocacy and activism work can be done without formal degrees or training. This is true and can be accessible thanks to the internet. It's internet. And so, you don't have to have a special education or degree to care about what's going on in certain situations and step in, speak up. A lot of ways you can get involved, even if it's even just online. There's so many ways to get involved in helping others, even just at school, at work, in your community, in your family, standing up for maybe people that feel undervalued, picked on, and or bullied. I hope that you will be an advocate. So she says, this is my working definition of advocacy: using my resources, including my voice, physical presence, money, energy, and or time to honor, support, and partner with people, institutions, and policies that align with my values and vision for a world of equity and justice. So what comes to your mind when you hear the term advocate? Leave that in the comments. What comes to your mind when you think about being an advocate and helping others and standing up for them? Who or what are you picturing? Is there anything different from your first thoughts, feelings, or beliefs? How so? And she lists some ways to be an advocate for social change and transformation. So number one, spend time in your community. Get out and about in your neighborhood, in your city. It could be your church, community events. Learn about the different community groups and efforts that already exist, as well as the areas of need that remain. And you could even start one yourself if you don't see that need being met. And sometimes that might even just be volunteering somewhere for people that are in need, whether it's youth, elderly, anything in between. It doesn't take far to find needs. Number two, commit to one small act a day, a week that connects your passions, interests, and values. For example, if you're concerned about environmental issues, you can work in the community garden in your neighborhood. If you're interested in food justice, you might start a little free pantry or work in another one. Number three, vote. Number four, volunteer with local organizations or participate in mutual aid efforts. Number five, read and research about the topics and issues that you are called to, and the ones that you feel at the edge of your comfort zone. I have some podcasting about breaking out of your comfort zone. This is so important. If you want to be successful, you have to leave your comfort zone every day. I heard that in the Disciplined Entrepreneurship Workbook. You have to leave your comfort zone every day to be successful. What do you think about that? Make sure you follow, like, please, this channel. Leave your comments as we go and share it, because we all need this type of content. Read more. Explore a range of sources and mediums. Know that you won't always leave your reading or research with an answer, and that's okay. Learning and unlearning are processes. Encourage yourself to stay open, not only about the issues on the table, but about yourself as well. Yes, when we start meeting other people and seeing what they go through and reading about situations and listening to podcasts, we're going to also learn about our own self and how we can break out. Number six, check your privilege and reflect on systems of privilege and oppression. We all exist at different intersections of privilege and oppression. Number seven, find creative outlets for your processing and expression. And that's what my nurseand.com channel is all about. We really learn how to create, be unique, I share a lot of my new spoken word and poems with you, along with my devotionals and my published fictional drama, which is really a creative work to help you and help others and highlight and advocate for what we go through. And I had a person very close to me who encouraged me and helped set me up to do that. And I'm so thankful to him. Number 7, find creative outlets for your processing and expression. As you read and research and talk, things can get heavy and emotional. Having outlets for these feelings is important. And she said she personally turns to writing most often, hence this article. Art and music are other wonderful ways to express the depths of your experience. Number 8, talk with friends and families about the issues you're curious about. Number 9, support products, services, and companies that do align with your values. 10, you can boycott products, services, and companies whose values don't align with yours. Number 11, write letters, send faxes, tweet, or call local and federal politicians. 12, you can use online petitions to send letters and opinions. 13, share and retweet content on social media. Number 14, journal. Explore your own biases and gaps in knowledge and experience. When you have questions and curiosities, go to the page. Ask yourself to think through the questions. Maybe like me, you'll end up with more questions. And this too is growth. We all need to keep growing in our mental health, our mental healing, learning about ourselves and learning about what others go through. And that's advocacy too. 15, incorporate donation options into events you host or attend. It could be a book club or neighborhood meetings or parties, and you can involve that. Number 16, host or participate in book clubs or conversation groups. Number 17, find mentors and guides. 18, enroll in trainings to learn more about issues you care about. 9, pay activists, educators, politicians who are working for change and transformation. 20, practice self-care and collective care. In order to show up fully for this work, we all need to be refueled and recharged. This is true. Take care of yourself. Maintain practices that allow you to play, rest, and relax. Advocate for these practices becoming policy. Collective care means caring for the well-being of everyone, knowing that we need one another and need our work to be sustainable. Practicing advocacy as a family. So yes, we can do things together with our family, and that's also really helpful for us to leave that legacy also and teach others how to do the same. So now, as I promised, we're going to jump into some of my devotionals that really get into advocating to help you, me, us, and others. Another drink of water, everyone, after you follow this channel. So the first one is from my Word Puzzles devotional. It has a lot of interesting and unique words. And I link to our everyday life and inner thought struggles. It has relevant biblical prescriptions. And you know what else is in here? Medicine for your soul. Do you need soul medicine? I think that we all can use some soul medicine. So today, this one is really all about advocacy. And it's an A to Z devotional. And I chose from the letter S. And the word is sentinel. What does that mean, Nurse Ann? Sentinel. To guard, keep watch, protect, defend, advocate. Are you an advocate? Do you need one for yourself? Unfortunately, there's no shortage of bullies. They invade school, work, home, countries, in every arena you can think of. Psalm 82:3 prompts us to defend the cause of the weak and the fatherless, to look out for the needs of the poor and oppressed. James 1:27 continues this plea to help orphans and widows in distress. The world contains billions of those in need. The task can seem overwhelming. Thankfully, we have a heavenly advocate. One step, one person at a time, we can be part of the solution. That includes you. Leave in the comments anything that you're involved in or anyone that you advocate for. In my published fictional book series, Book 5 is titled The Mental Files Defenders of the Weak. You're going to encounter individuals and groups being bullied and harassed, placing them in danger. Yes, my fictional drama is full of danger, action, suspense, romance, faith, and inspiration. You are going to love the action and adventure, along with the advocacy and awareness. And we're going to get to that soon. Some of the tormentors are trying to keep their comfortable status quo lifestyles. Meet the frontline workers who attempt to rescue those in crisis of mental, physical, and spiritual, with help from a God who is able. I pray that your advocacy on behalf of others will also return in your own time of need. Yes, when we show that kindness and advocacy to help others, hopefully, and it will return to you. Paying it forward, it's going to return to you in your own time of need. Because even though we might not be going through something right now, eventually we all go through things that we need people to advocate and help us through. And as I said, I'm Nurse Ann. I'm coming now from the messy front lines. I'm a certified emergency and mental health registered nurse of the front lines. And so let's get into some more of my devotionals to talk about advocacy. This one is called Street Survivors, and I had just started doing spoken word poetry. Also at my website, nurseann.com, I have different tabs where I bring these to life for you. So Street Survivors, I see a lot of homeless people in my line of work, and I'm sure that you do just as you go about your day. And this is a real life situation. So cold, dark concrete. This is called Street Survivors by Nurse Ann. Cold, dark concrete. Stomach full of hunger. How do I survive or warm my bare feet? Danger and fear surround me like fog. The sun batters down, advancing my years. Is all this my fault? Did I deserve the abuse? My childhood was flawed. I feel of no use. And that's how a lot of people feel. And the devotional part reminds us that trauma-informed care. Trauma-informed care is a big part of advocacy too. It helps us to look at people through the eyes of, not only through the eyes of God, but through the eyes of what people have been through in their childhood, even adulthood, and try to show that empathy and listening and compassion. Trauma-informed care implores us to look past the exterior and to quell our judgment. What has this person endured? Do they have the tools to heal? Can we show compassion in action? Can you show compassion in action? I know you can. And the verse that inspired that was Isaiah 25:4. For God has been a strength to the poor, a strength to the needy in his distress, a refuge from the storm, a shadow from the heat, when the blast of the terrible ones is as a storm against the wall. And moving on, we're going to advocate for something else now in my next poem, and it's called Bondage. Stolen from home, lured to a lie. Now I'm trapped, might be better just to die. Forced to this labor, this disgust, feeling the shame, hoping for rescue, was tricked into this for fame. And the devotional part reminds us that human trafficking invades every country, city, and neighborhood. People can be lured by deception for a myriad of reasons. Poverty, loneliness, trying to fit in, and many more reasons are used by perpetrators to capture their victims. We must educate, empower, and support organizations to eradicate this disgusting evil. And that was inspired by Psalm 82:3, defend the poor and fatherless, do justice to the afflicted and needy. Isaiah 1:17, learn to do well, seek judgment, relieve the oppressed, judge the fatherless, plead for the widow. So I'm giving you some ideas of things that you can advocate for. I'm sure you already knew that, but just things that I see in everyday life and on the front lines of emergency and mental health. Really, this Ignite Life devotional, poetry devotional, it's my latest. It's just full of situations that people go through. I'm just touching on a few today, but you can get the book if you want and also see them. I read some of them on my website. This one is called Battered. made to feel worthless, slapped for burnt dinner, always told she's a loser, lost her hope to ever be a winner, battered and bruised, no strength to refute, accept the dark fate, the lies, the trauma, a life of being used. Please help your sister. And it's also for guys too. But please help your sister, show her another way, compassion and truth, hope for light of starting a new day. And the devotional part reminds us that generational cycles, low self-esteem, and stressful surroundings can unfortunately perpetuate the pain of abuse. And this is for men, women, and children. Help us lead men, women, and children to safer environments and promote trauma-informed care and learning to work on breaking the devastating cycles. No one deserves to live in fear and torment. And that's inspired by 2 Samuel 22:49. And he that brings me forth from mine enemies has also lifted me on high above them that rose up against me. You have delivered me from the violent person. One more, and then we're going to jump on. But this one is called Notice Me. And I'm not going to read the poem right now. You can get it in the book or see it on the website. But it's just talks about a person feeling invisible, wanting to be noticed, thinking they don't fit in, and wondering how they should fit in. But the devotional part reminds us that people of all ages can sometimes feel starved for attention, eye contact, and conversation. As we go about our day, it can be a mutually enriching experience to notice each other, inquire about each other's well-being. And if you, wherever you work, go to church, your social situations, your school, wherever, notice people that seem shy, afraid, quiet, bullied, ostracized, picked on. I hope that you will be kindness and a bridge to help them not feel so terrible. This is real, and I hope that you can be a part of that. I also have the mental healing poetry devotional, and this is also full of poems about advocacy for what we go through in our own mental struggles and what people go through on the front lines of emergency and mental health. And number 2 is this is Mental Healing Poetry Devotional by Nurse Ann. Hopefully your favorite nurse and new indie author. I hope you started following this channel. Share it, leave your comment, and like it. Sheep Among Wolves. So this talks about a young lady who's alone on the street, battling frightening hallucinations, fending for herself among ravenous predatory wolves. So Sheep Among Wolves. And actually in my published fictional drama, the first one is titled Sheep Among Wolves, and it's pretty much about this young lady or anybody dealing with this type of situation. So alone on the street, a sheep among wolves. A girl's got to eat, so what can she do? She begs you for money when you pass by her way. You just look at her funny as you go about your day. It must be her fault. She did something wrong. She did something wrong. But you don't know the short or the long. Her mom's on drugs. Her dad's not around. The girl grew up with no toys and no hugs. Hey, you. Open your eyes. Check your heart. You think you know truth, but believe your own lies. Sometimes we do believe our own lies or the lies perpetuated around us. So wake up. Look around. It's about time we do our part. Hence us talking about advocacy, leaving a legacy of advocating and teaching our loved ones to advocate for others. Standing up, don't let people get bullied or picked on. And this was inspired by Isaiah 1:17, learn to do well, seek judgment, relieve the oppressed, judge the fatherless, plead for the widow. And Proverbs 31, open your mouth for people that aren't able to speak up for themselves. And open your mouth, judge righteously, and plead the cause of the poor and needy. Psalm 82:3, defend the poor and fatherless, do justice to the afflicted and needy. Yes, no matter what you believe in, we're all called to help each other and stand up for others. And so as a nurse on the front lines of emergency and mental health, I see many people struggling with mind battles, homelessness, drug addictions, and so much more. And I'm sure you see that in your avenue, whether you're a caretaker or just in the world. Unfortunately, most of these lives have had their innocence stolen by trauma and abuse. It's deplorable to see someone without any safe shelter or food. Yet at the same time, these lost sheep try to manage frightening hallucinations taking over their mind while attempting to fend off ravenous predatory wolves. There's a lot of people that like to take advantage of others, so I hope that we can recognize and stand in the gap for others. One of my trauma-informed care heroes is Mother Teresa. I'm greatly inspired by how she and her crew combed the dirty streets and picked up those who had been tossed aside due to illness, poverty, and even those dying a lonely and painful death. Theirs was a life dedicated to helping the ostracized and stigmatized have some moments of peace, dignity, and love amid a society that was content to throw them away. I know we can't always give money for many reasons, but it does go a long way to offer eye contact, listening ear, prayers, and general empathy and compassion. And sometimes you can even go further and do more. Unfortunately, many of these traumatized individuals have not experienced respect or kindness their whole lives. I see that a lot. A lot of people that have disabilities, limitations, or had a life of trauma, that they really get looked down upon everywhere they go, and also feel down on themselves and don't have a lot of people respecting them, showing them that kindness and attention. I pray that as we go, grace and mercy will move us to show compassion and action and speak life. Speak life. And that's from my mental healing poetry devotional. Most people gravitate to this because we all need mental healing, not only for ourselves, but also for others. And there's also the Inspiration Battles devotional, Biblical Medicine for Real Life and Soul Searching with a dose of encouragement, Nurse Ann again. And last but not least, Energize Health, Body, Mind, and Spirit. So I know you have other things to do, so we're going to jump into the bonus and the prize now, so you can go on with your day and or evening. So what is this? I'm glad you asked. As a busy nurse on the front lines, I created this in my free time. Not sure what that is yet, but in my free time, I created this 6-part drama series that highlights the struggles that people go through in mental health and emergency on the front lines. The first one was Sheep Among Wolves. The second one was Dr. John Doe. We're now about to finish A Tent Under the Bridge, and we're going to get into that today. A couple more chapters and we're moving on. Then we have Defenders of the Weak, people getting bullied, people advocating for them, and anxiety and stuff like that. Ready, Willing, and Able, we talk about disability, autism spectrum, and how people can help. No matter what your limitation is or those that you love, they can all have their unique capabilities and talents and can be heroes. And then Out of Control is the season finale, because with your help, this is going to be a television drama series. So let's jump in. First, I'll show you. It's in one book to make it almost free and easy. It's the Mental Files First 6 Stories edition by Nurse Ann. And guess what? I had it made into an audiobook. This is what it looks like on Audible and iTunes. You will love this. The narrator, Drama Simpson, he filled it with siren noises, action noises, different character voices, and you feel like you're right there in the action, like it is a movie or a television drama series. You're going to love it. I hope you check it out on Audible and iTunes. And please, please, please leave a review and also follow this channel. You're going to love the Mental Files First 6 Stories edition by Nurse Ann. So let's jump in so you can go. We just did chapter 22 is Back to the Emergency Room. Today is chapter 23, Lost But Found. From the Mental Files, A Tent Under the Bridge. Pretty exciting stuff. Leon, who is the officer, attempted to comfort the woman he loved when she started to sob. Thanks, Leon, but I feel so bad. Maybe I didn't do enough for Julie. I wish her mom didn't have to be homeless. Why is this world so crazy? We have to find them, she cried. Leon intensified his efforts and continued to comb the area. Lita, you always do everything you can for your clients. You're so compassionate. That's just part of why I'm in love with you, he declared. Surprised by his admission, Lita was speechless. As the two sat in silence while the words sunk in, Lita's phone rang. "Leon, they've been found!" she exclaimed. Jumping into his patrol car, he put on the sirens as they rushed to the emergency room. And that's the end of chapter 23, Lost But Found. Lost But Found. Chapter 24 is Team in Action, which we'll do on the next one. So as I said, please follow this channel. It's going to help you break out of your comfort zones and your mental battles. Share it with others. Leave your comments today. And I'll see you at the next NurseAnn.com podcast.